doing this for a little bit longer anyway, you know. So, is anyone watching? I didn't say. But anyway, the point is that I liked a lot of concepts from it. I like casting. Like, I know Kevin Spacey is, you know, everyone has to hate him now to be the scumbag, blah blah blah. But his act, he's a good fucking actor, and I'm not gonna pretend he's not a good actor, you know. That doesn't excuse him of anything, but it, yeah. And I thought he made a absolutely passable, definitely Lex Luthor, especially. It's, you know, it's not as bad as people shit on that movie pretty hard, and probably that sounds like something and I'll tell you why I was mad, honestly, is that it was the finale, so to speak, of the Christopher Reeve, you know, ones, and it was like, all right, this is like the Christopher Reeve Superman, like his final like bow, so to speak, and they're like, he's a deadbeat dad, and I'm like, what? And it's like, okay, well, aside from the fact that he's a deadbeat dad, let's just twist my arm, argument's sake, it, you know, all right, fair enough, you got it. You know, yeah. He was, you know, but he didn't know because he had to go check to see if Krypton was really blown up or not, right?
Uh-huh.
At the end of it, they just don't acknowledge that he's the son. Like the guy who's dating Lois or whatever, or marrying Lois or whatever, is just raising a fucking kid that's Superman's kid. And I'm
Does he know it's Superman's kid?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's fucking horse shit. Like, this guy's just like, he's gonna go to like, hey son, let's arm wrestle and get his arm ripped off some fucking day, and he's just gonna be like, oh Jesus Christ, and Superman's just like gonna be floating in the background.
I mean, I feel like Lois should probably say something for that type of thing, but I still think that it's completely all right that
Oh, I'm not saying that he had to end up with Lois. I'm not even mad about that. I'm not mad about like the fact that, you know, she's like, I want a human, and he's like, cool, like, you know, I'm not mad about that. I'm mad about the fact that he was a deadbeat dad for 5 years, and then when he finally comes back, he doesn't even get involved in the kid's life.
Well, no. I was saying, I thought you were kind of making fun of the other guy for like raising the kid. I was like, that's honorable, being the stepdad.
No, I feel bad for that guy. I'm saying like that guy's the victim of this story.
Yeah.
I'm saying Superman is an asshole who's and then it ends it with the line from the first movie, which is that, as I said, the guy from The Godfather. What the fuck's his name? Whatever. But he's the guy who
Gene Hackman.
Yeah, Gene Hackman. That's the one from The Godfather. Gene fucking Hackman. But the point is that he sits there and he's the guy who actually says Krypton.
Oh, in the first movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he also, but the same audio clip is used at the end of this, the Brandon one too.
Okay.
And he calls it Krypton, and I'm like, fuck you. But the point is that it ends with him saying his line from like the start of the first movie, and it's supposed to be like a full circle thing, and you're like, oh, I get it. It's like he has a kid, and the kid has all the powers of Superman and none of the weaknesses. That's tight, you know. And I'm like, yeah, but like, fuck, like the kid doesn't know he's Superman's son. Lois does. Superman doesn't. And they just let it go.
That's my
fault. Don't know. Like, that's where my like everything else. There was him catching the plane in the stadium. I got fucking chills during that scene. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting in the theater. Literally, I had honest to God goosebumps running up and down my spine, and I'm like, this is the coolest shit I'll ever see in film.
Did that plane crumple at all when he was doing
that?
Yes,
at the nose. At the nose it did.
But just at the nose, like it didn't crumple anywhere else.
No, just at the nose. It was bad science. But you know, I can justify it because, you know, Superman has that like quote unquote field around him, you know, that like supposedly distorts shit. You know what I'm talking about?
No, never heard
Superman. Supposedly, no, I should have kept going. That's my bad. Superman supposedly has like a essentially, you know how like when Superman flies with somebody, how their other limbs don't explode off of them,
right? Or they're not at the bare minimum they don't have a concussion.
Exactly.
From any form of a takeoff or landing.
Right. That's because he has like this little like essentially think of it like a field, right?
Like an inert field. Like it takes
yeah,
away
like
a lot of
inert
inertia.
field that takes
Okay.
away a lot of the inertia, which is the only reason that people don't fucking die when he saves them, basically. And so I attributed it to that, which is why, like, when he catches some shit, like, think about this. How many times when he catches a building, should that building just have come apart in fucking hands? Like, you know what I mean?
He catches
like,
a car. Like if you put all of your fucking mass, if all of the mass was concentrated onto like fingers or a hand, like everything
it would crumple around.
Yeah, everything would crumple
Right.
around it and fall apart.
Right. And that's why Superman is able to do that, is because he has that little field around him. And that's not something I made up. That's a real deal thing. Like, and it's, but my point is that I'm like, so like that scene. Oh my God! Did I just fucking? No, I didn't. Good. Okay, now I fucked it. Oh, I still didn't fuck it because they suck. When it comes down to it, that scene in that movie, like I loved that scene so much. Like it wasn't the catching of the plane, and it wasn't anything else other than the moment where he sets it down in the stadium. If you block this, you motherfucker!
It was gonna hit the fucking
motherfucker.
It was gonna hit the post. It was gonna hit the post, and I was trying to
11
deflect it.
No, it's cool. I'm glad this is recorded. Yeah, fuck you, Brian.
That was gonna hit the post and come out.
That was not catching.
Yes, it was.
No, bullshit.
It was gonna come across.
Rewind the tape.
It was gonna come across the goal line.
Hey, Blockbuster, be kind, please rewind. Check the tape on that shit, because there's no fucking way that was gonna hit the post. That was going in.
That was hitting the post, man.
No.
That was not going in cleanly. It was for sure hitting the post.
Clean. No, that was Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
No, that was hitting the fucking post.
All right, you know what? Here's the deal. I'll make you a deal, okay? If you're wrong on this, because you have the tape, if you're wrong on this, I want to see a nicely edited together YouTube clip on your YouTube channel that just says, "I'm sorry," plastered all over it.
Not happening.
I know. At least give me, if I was right, at least give me the clip so I can edit that together, because I will do that. And I'm gonna use the I'm gonna use the
a lot better than I thought I was going to.
I'm gonna use the clips of you saying like, it wouldn't have gone in, and I'll play it back in some really slow motion. What was I saying before fucking Gene Hackman interrupted? What was I saying? Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't the fact that he caught the plane. It was the fact that he walks into the plane afterward and goes, "Everyone okay?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, and we're okay." And he goes, "Well, statistically, flying is still the safest way to go." And he just steps out of the plane and like just slowly just takes a little nod and then just flies up and flies away. And I'm sitting there just like, wait, you left?
Yeah, I'm checking the replay.
Okay, good. That's important.
No, like, I mean, because you can actually save replays and rewatch.
Oh, okay. I backed out so I can join you for the next thing here. But anyway, the point is that like that to me, I was like, that's fucking Superman right there. You know what I mean? Like that's just such a Superman thing to do.
All right, Brian, load up Twitch and look at this.
Wait, if I'm wrong, I don't want to do it, but no, I'll do it. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna load up my computer because I don't want to have to fuck around with that. Wake up, computer. Now it's 1 a.m.
There's not a ton of like options for playing, so I can't go in slow-mo.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, you're playing Overwatch? That's pretty neat. Alright, I'm watching.
Okay, so you're in?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so for me, you just hit the ball.
Oh, no, there, now I just hit it. I'm watching. Liking that turn.
It hits. You'll see it hit. that means the angle is going to even more so go towards the corner of
wait,
of the post.
Okay, all right, sorry, all right.
It's going to hit this post. It very well could roll up into the goal.
Yeah, that was a slam dunk if I've ever seen one.
But that is hitting. When you'll see me kind of go into the corner. It's going to hit right there and bounce out right where I aim the camera, kind of towards Spudman 03 in a second.
Oh, yeah, okay. We can sit here.
You can see based on the trail.
I don't know. That's got a pretty good curve to it. I don't know.
It's curving left.
Yeah, like a pro. Yeah.
All right, are you back out? Are you at main menu?
Yeah, I'm at the main menu, yeah.
I'm hitting play.
I'm going to exit Twitch.
That's fine.
You know, you should probably change your thing from Overwatch just so you don't get banned from Twitch. That's how they ban people.
That's how they do it.
Fuck. Of course, the minute that you say that, I walk away to take a leak. Joke's on them. I wasn't playing. But now I am. Up and away.
I got hit way into the corner.
Alright. Oh, that was bad. I'm alright. I recovered, but that was bad. You ever have one of those sequence of events that you're like, I don't know how we got here, but...
Was it unfortunate?
It was a series. It was a Lemony Snicket's, if I've ever seen it.
That Netflix show isn't too bad. Like, as long as you're completely ready to suspend disbelief. What?
It just reminded me of the thing that Michelle posted or whatever, like where it's like, you know, I didn't spend 8 or 7 years at Hogwarts for nothing or whatever it was, you know, and they're like, you didn't spend 7 years at Hogwarts. It's like, I've never felt more attacked. Which made me laugh very hard because, like, I don't know why, but like,
you're like,
it's
people that like Harry Potter are such douches.
No, it's like, I don't know why, but it's like, it's funny to me because, like, I don't know, like, to me, like, liking Harry Potter super hard is fine, like, because, like, you know, you can like anything super hard. You can like Star Wars super hard or whatever, right? But to me, it's like liking any franchise really hard. It's like, you know, it's cool. You can love a franchise, but inevitably it will disappoint you. You know what I mean?
No, I didn't hear it because all I was saying was thanks for fucking booting me when I had a shot on goal.
You didn't have a fucking shot. You would hit the post. Go back to the fucking tape. Fucking A, Blockbuster.
Oh, he did not hit that like
no.
I thought he was going to.
Oh, no. Son of a bitch. You just got it. Right.
Anyway, what were you saying about Hogwarts?
Like, I mean, it's fine, like, to like any of that stuff, because it's like, as I said, it's like liking Star Wars or something like that, but you gotta remember that it will disappoint you at some point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, it will come back to bite you and be a miserable thing that you're, like, in a way. You're gonna go like, oh, I loved that franchise, and now I lived long enough to see it become the villain.
I don't get where that came from.
I compared the Hogwarts or like Harry Potter to Star Wars. I go,
No,
you
I,
can
I
look-
fully understand, but you were like, isn't it funny how Michelle was like, I really like the series, and there's a tweet that emphasizes it where somebody was like, you never went to Hogwarts, and you're like, oh, I've never
Well,
felt so
like,
attacked.
okay, well, let's put it
and you're
this
like,
way,
and
let's-
that totally means that your series
no,
is going to let you down eventually.
No,
I'm like,
people are people. I'm saying it's okay to be passionate about a series, but it's when people take it to the point of like where like you got to remember that no matter what it is, a series, like it's a franchise. It's what it is, and eventually franchises will will eventually do some stupid shit that
I'm
you're
just
not
letting you
happy
know,
with.
you're either doing a really bad communicating where the connection went. Like, it's just being like, yeah, man, I like ice cream, and then, or somebody was like, hey, I like ice cream. I like to live at a ice cream factory. And you're like, well, eventually ice cream's going to let you down. You're like, no, the joke is that, none of us actually live in an ice cream factory.
No,
Like,
no,
I don't understand how you get from
Both are
her...
true. Both are true. I think ice cream will eventually let you down, and you never worked in an ice cream factory. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why, but it's funny to me.
Because the whole joke is like, I feel so
I
attacked right now,
understand.
right? I'm making
no,
sure
no.
I understand that I didn't fuck this up. The whole joke
that
is
that is
I
the-
feel so
that is the
attacked.
actual
You never ever
real
went to the
deal
fucking
joke.
Hogwarts. I feel so attacked. Like, okay,
Right.
yeah, the joke is obvious. I really like.
Yes, that is the obvious joke and the thing that made me initially laugh about it. But then,
And so that's why I'm
but
saying I don't understand how you're like, well, fuck you. You enjoy this thing. It's gonna let you down. It's gonna fucking shit all over your dreams.
No, that's not what I said. I'm saying
You
I'm
just
saying
said
that
it's going to eventually let you down. You're like,
it will. And what I'm trying to say is that I find it funny. Like, yes, I like the obvious part of the joke and the thing that the initial joke was that what you had said, because that is what the joke is. But where I took it to was a place of like it's like I took it to, in my mind, a logical conclusion of like, it's a bad idea to like any franchise, like, too hard. And, because eventually the franchise, you're going to live long enough to see it become the villain. Like, eventually, I feel like Harry Potter or anything, is going to eventually you're going to get the reboot, the remake, or the whatever, and it's going to, and it's going to become a twisted, unrecognizable thing unto itself. You're going to get a Harry Potter movie every year kind of thing. Like, I'm just basically giving it the Harry Potter, or the Star Wars treatment where they take a franchise that people love and fucking twist it, I'm just making a gaffe joke about the fact that I think it's a bad idea to think for people to truly believe that they spent 7 years at Hogwarts. That was the bit. People shouldn't get that attached to shit, like, or have that level of passion at times.
so you're saying, what you're basically saying is that, like, Brian, you should just stop buying the Ghostbusters re-releases because Ghostbusters didn't release a amazing third
I'm
movie
saying anyone who gets
that
a
you should stop
Ghostbusters
watching.
tattoo is a bad it's a bad idea.
So getting the Ghostbusters tattoo ruins the first two. Like,
No, you're
It's-
not. You're taking it to a different place that I'm taking it. I'm saying that like it cracks.
how
me
does it
up.
let you down? It didn't let you down just then. Like, it's still the same thing. The new shit might be bad,
Yeah,
but like it doesn't fucking change anything. Hey, Brian, are the first 3 Star Wars movies, the original trilogy, are they shit
Yeah.
now? Are they like horribly shit? Like, hey, this is dumb.
They're tainted, but
I'm
no,
never.
they're not shit.
They're
You're right.
tainted. That's horseshit.
A little bit.
That is
bit,
absolute
a little bit.
horseshit. Those stand alone on their own.
I agree with you that because remember, I do agree that the originals still exist and all that stuff. But like a small part of your brain says, but remember, Luke ends up on a fucking island as a nut job and blows it, and you're like, like I don't want to think about that. Like I don't want to ever have that thought again. Like,
See, this is where sports would have been a really good thing for you when you were a kid. Like, your whole life, you hit me in the air, and it
I
made me
did?
do-
go to the tape. Let's see it.
No, you hit me.
I know. I'm
watching
gonna watch it right now.
You go, whop. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I did. I booped you.
Like, sports teams teaches you that, hey, that fucking 2012 Tigers team was fucking awesome. Them losing today doesn't ruin that team. Like, that team is still good. That team was great. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. Yeah, and that's probably true. It's just that after basically the whole thing is that I compared Harry Potter to Star Wars, and in my opinion, Star Wars has been or has really been like pissing me off a lot lately, and they've really gone downhill in a dramatic fashion. And while the original still exists and all that fun stuff, like in my opinion, they've like it's basically they've sullied the name a little bit. It's the Kevin Spacey effect. Kevin Spacey's work still stands as a testament to his ability to act, kind of thing. But at the back of your mind, like he probably wanted to diddle a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're just like and that takes away from the performances for me, kind of thing. If that makes any sense. That's what
I could see it in that way because I think that is a lot more apt. I think, though, if I'm going to be completely honest with it, I think those are completely two different situations where one of them is just a creative decision and the other one's a dude molesting an underage child.
They are apples to oranges.
I could see where you are making that connection. It makes no sense to me. Like, it's just a creative decision. It wasn't a guy raping children.
No, I mean that was an extreme example, but it's because we had just used Kevin Spacey as an example is why I used that. But you get you get what I was trying to say. Like, for example, like Indiana Jones, right? The first few Indiana Jones are like classic fucking movies, but when people talk about Indiana Jones, that they will mention the originals, but then they always go back to like, that crystal skull is a piece of shit, eh? And you're like, fuck it does exist. Freedom Fridge is a thing, you know what I mean? Like, you try not to think about it, you try to put it out of your head, but at the end of the day, you still know that Freedom Fridge is a thing that happened in a franchise like that, and you're just like, it makes me sick to think about.
What the hell is Freedom Fridge?
Freedom Fridge is the nickname that they gave to the fucking refrigerator that he goes into and avoids a nuclear explosion.
Is that in the fourth one?
Yeah, it's in the beginning. Like, he literally gets into a refrigerator. He goes, it's lead lined, so it'll protect me. And like, he's at ground zero of an actual nuclear explosion. Like, not like a little one, like a legit fucking nuclear explosion. and it's dropped right on him, and he survives. And he literally gets out of the fridge without a fucking scratch, not a broken bone, not a nothing. And the fridge is launched. I'm not even kidding. This is in the movie. You can look it up. He launched probably like, I don't know, 10 miles, something like that. I'm serious. In the air, and then he fucking hits the ground and goes, and then it fucking rolls and rolls and rolls, like insane, like rolling, like Jackass wouldn't do it. It's everyone's like, if you were in there, you were liquid, right? And he steps out of it and he goes, that was close. Oh, I gotta be careful. I'm getting older or whatever. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is how we're opening the film. And then it got worse, and then there was the swinging monkeys and a bunch of other fucking... But anyway, the point is that
it couldn't be worse than the first two that I saw. Those were terrible.
Yeah, but my point is, I'll give you the second one. It's pretty rough to watch, even though
it's really tough because as someone that did not watch those films, growing up, they did not age well.
No,
in my head, they did not. Maybe everybody else in the world is like, you're an asshole, and maybe I'm just the asshole that didn't like them, but fuck, those did not age well in my head.
Oh, no, and that's just it. Is that, like, I can understand that, but, like, the difference is that you are capable of, like, I consider you to be an intelligent man when it comes to recognizing, like, the difference between a quality film and a film that you're just like, what the fuck happened here? If you watched... Like say the first one lined up with fucking Freedom Fridge, you'd be like, I can see that there were some. Oh my god, I pooped you so hard and then stole it. I'm the worst. Oh my god.
Tough.
I fucked this here. Oh, or not.
Oh, that was actually the best movie we could have made.
But anyway, the point is that like, there's not even like there's not a shadow of a doubt that, like,
shit.
Let's put it this way: if you sat down and you watched it, and you came up to me and looked me dead in the eye and were completely honest with me, right? And there's no way, like, even for the for the joke, you might say like, oh, clearly this one's the superior film, but like, it's not true. Like, it's impossible.
Great fucking pass. I just tried to go up and do a little bit of touch to it, and I missed. And I got hit away, so I've got hardly any boop to make the save if I have to.
Right. I'm
I've got 100 now.
stalling it out. Okay. All right. But anyway, the point is that in the same way now, like, this last Star Wars film has really, like, soured me, like, to the point, like, the past couple have been, like The Force Awakens, I was actually okay with. I was okay with The Force Awakens. But ever since then, it's the Rogue One, I was like, this is okay. Like, it was passable. It was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. It just, like, it basically had all, like, the trimmings of Star Wars without being any of the actual substance, but it was, you know, it was still a nice little treat. And this new one, this fucking nightmare of a film, like, to me, I walk out of it and I've still not recovered from that movie. Like, I've actually grown to hate it more and more as time has gone on. Why did they do that? It's just what they did to Luke, I guess, is my biggest problem.
Yeah, I have no attachment to that. I just hate the storytelling in that one. I don't have those attachments to Luke, so
yeah.
To me, it's the problem of just it being like we had a trilogy going, and then we just threw everything out.
Yes.
Like, and we actually symbolized it at the very beginning by having him literally throw the lightsaber out. Like, that sets the tone. Once you watch the whole movie, you're like, holy shit. Literally, that was Rian Johnson throwing out this J.J. Abrams script. Like,
yeah.
Hey, you know the plot line you had ready for this thing?
Well, and I guess that's just it, is that, like, to me, like, all right, so they're like, okay, well, so we fucked the trilogy, you know, and you're like, all right, well, that sucks, but, you know, at least we'll treat all the characters with respect, right? Oh, we won't? Oh, okay, cool. Like, they just handled Luke so poorly, like, to the point where now, like, I have so, I don't know, like, I'm so bitter about how they handled Luke.
Oops, that's my fault.
It's all right. It's just, how could, I don't know, like, it's like this guy, he's number one, he's the Jedi Master, he's teaching all to everybody, he has a moment of weakness, it's like, oh, it's okay, well, he'll have his redemption moment, right? Now he just dies. Like, oh.
I don't know if he really was the Jedi Master. I mean, he was trained by Yoda, but he was trained for, like, what, 14 minutes? And then he left?
They don't show it, how many years he and then he went, whatever. He had plenty of training. That's not the issue. The issue.
Nah, he didn't have any training.
Well, let's just say that he's not. Let's just say that he was self-taught. Okay. Still, he has the most Force power, like, like supposedly out of, like, the Jedi, that are available at the time. And he was teaching a new, all the new Jedi, and it's like, oh, cool. It's like, he's gonna have this new Jedi, and all this, that. Like, I don't know. Like, even if they made him out to be, like, I'm not saying, like, make him out to be, like, this pure altruistic, like, I'm the greatest of all time heroes. Like, if you want to say, like, you know what, no, keep that same storyline. I attempted to kill Ben because I had a moment of weakness. It's like, okay, all right, well, I mean, that sucks for sure, but, like, be Luke about it. And instead he's just like, I know what I'll do. I'll be a total dick that doesn't learn from my mistakes, and it's like, at all. Like, what? I don't know. It was very upsetting, that film. And so whenever I see anything about Harry Potter or any other major franchise now, I'm like, you just wait. It's like, everyone's gonna get theirs now.
I like how it just sounds like you're super bitter, and you want everybody else to wallow in your resentment of your series.
I don't want people to have that happen. I just think that it's a bad idea to get attached to any franchise like that.
I feel like it's bad to get attached to a franchise and then have expectations in any way.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly fine to be attached to what has been released as, like, hey, no, this was good. Like Halo 1, 2, and 3, those were really good. Halo 4, okay, it exists, and it kind of gets into the more the Didact situation, shit like that. Halo 5's kind of fine, but, like, it's not anywhere near, like, how I felt during the first 3. But, like, those first 3 still exist, and they're still fun, and they're like the storyline. I still really enjoy the storyline, regardless if anybody else thinks they're good or not. It doesn't matter. Like that's still my
Yeah.
trilogy. That's still the trilogy I really liked, and like they could have it be a turn-based strategy game come out for Halo 6, and that wouldn't affect the whole thing for me. It's like, no, those still all exist, and they're all still good. They're still fun.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Would I
but
very
also,
much like them to keep going with 6? Sure.
What if? Just hear me out. What if number 6 comes out and everything that you, like, all right, just picking this up here, okay? Chief dies of space herpes.
Pneumonia.
No, space herpes. Like, he literally gets space herpes from fucking a rock, okay, that he found. And Arbiter makes Cortana a real girl and bangs her on top of the Chief's corpse. And meanwhile, Marcus Phoenix is there going, "Oh, my tomatoes," and watches the whole thing, okay? Now, that's a crazy situation, but let's just hear me out. That happens. And then you go back to play Halo 1. Are you not going to think the fact that, man, this guy eventually dies of space herpes and the Arbiter is going to bang his chick on top of his corpse? Like, is that not a thing that would pop into your head when you played those games in the future?
Well, there's no way that doesn't pop in the head, but it doesn't change the storyline of that game.
No, I know it doesn't change the storyline of that game, but I'm saying, like, isn't that something that you just going to be in the back of your head, you know? Something that, it's just a nagging little feeling that you're just like, fucking space herpes got this guy in the end. Because that's how I feel, like, you know, about it. Like, I'm just like, he thinks himself to death on a rock. Like, cool. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm just very upset by this whole
To me, you go through. Let's put it into relative terms. You go through and Halo 6 comes out. Let's just say they do fine with Halo 6, right?
Alright.
We'll make this extremely fucking relevant. They do Halo 6. Everybody considers the second trilogy the shit trilogy. The original trilogy is the OG trilogy. You know, that's the good one. Those are fun. Blah blah blah. You know, have you heard? We've maybe heard this song and dance in the exact example we're playing with right now. And then 30 years fucking later, they decide, hey, we're going to make 7, 8, and 9 now. Halo 7, 8, and 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think especially at that point, it's different. I don't think it's the same initial...
Oh my god, I can't believe that. We're... Fucked it. Made mistakes. In 30 years, they remake it. It's different.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. For sure, by no means am I gonna say did I like it. So I don't want it to say, like, if I say it's not gonna bother me, that it's not like I wanted something else to come from it, because I can fully understand your like that's not what I wanted and being disappointed. I'm not trying to take away like the disappointed thing, but all I'm going for is it tainted the rest of the story to me. I can't go back and watch the first ones, or I can't go back and play Halo 1 and ever have fun again with it. Like,
oh, I didn't say like don't get me wrong. Like, I can still watch the originals and be like, oh, this is fun, but like, I just hate the fact that there is something in the back of my brain that even for that one like second, like, makes me think, like, right as he's like, you know, Red 5 standing by, you're like, oh fuck yeah, Red 5 standing by, and then then you're just like, hey, crazy old man drinking green milk, like you just like, come on, like, you're telling me that like Luke spends his entire golden years being an asshole, like, come on. I don't know. Like, as I said, I'm not saying that like the franchise is destroyed or like my childhood is ruined kind of thing, but like, it's just genuine disappointment that taints things. Like, that's all it is. It taints them, and that's the only way I can describe it. Damn.
I was just I just turned my camera to see because I had no boot juice. You took that one right there, so I started going across and I hit the Y button twice to see where the ball was, and I was like, "Oh shit!" and tried to turn back around and get it.
It happens.
I don't think I ever got like the full story for you on Ghostbusters. Like I know you the we'd both talked like the movie wasn't as bad as everybody
No, it's not.
had said, or like a lot of people went with it and whatnot. Like, do you feel that tainted
No,
the whole
'cause it's a different
Ghostbusters
universe.
legacy?
Different universe. I'm okay with that. They didn't. It's
Different
not
universe, or it's just different characters?
different universe, and characters, both. I mean, because they're both of, like, had they made Ghostbusters 3, right? And let's just say they made.
No, let's just
like-
say they didn't make Ghostbusters 3. Let me do mine first before we get into
Okay.
yours. Yours is going to be literally. Let's not talk about how like that wouldn't be fair type thing. Just run with this as the idea, just
right.
so it hammers it home. It shows fucking all the surviving members of the original cast of the
Yep.
like 4
Yep.
at the time, because I can't remember if was Harold Ramis alive when they made
No.
that one. I can't remember when he
No,
died.
he's
So-
been dead.
Okay, so we'll go with the
Three.
Those 3 are there, and literally at the very opening of the movie for whatever, it's literally just it's them like shaking hands, like, all right, you 3, you 4 take over, or like something along those lines, where it, and then pretty much imagine the same exact movie tacked on right afterwards.
I guess.
Like,
and-
would
and-
that
and-
taint it where you're like, this is fucking horseshit, this is not my Ghostbusters?
No.
Hee-haw,
Actually,
hee-haw,
I-
female suck.
are they not in it? Like they're not in it beyond the fact that they
No,
literally
that's
just shook
it.
hands at the beginning.
That's
No,
it.
no,
Like,
it's-
so
that's
that
fine.
way it's for
fine.
sure
That's fine.
same
That's fine.
universe
They're
they're
not
handing,
pissing.
though.
They're not pissing on like on them while they're on screen. You know what I mean? Like it's not like this was like the Star Wars thing felt like a direct fucking insult. Like the Harrison Ford thing in the Force Awakens, like made sense. Like in his character, honestly, it made sense. Like and him going out the way he did made sense for the character, right? Like everything in that was handled with care, and and it wasn't the world's greatest movie. No, did they redo a lot of shit? Absolutely, but at the same time, every character was handled with love, respect, and dignity. This was not that. This was a huge slap in the face to fans of the original, from in my personal opinion, with the way they handled Luke, and then it was an affront to the new fans, because I thought that they didn't handle any of their characters very well. I thought Rey was not very well handled in general. I think she had one note the whole time and really didn't do anything. Didn't really grow as a character. I think that Kylo Ren had one note that he was been singing this whole time and didn't grow as a character, out of it. He could have grown. He had a chance to grow, where I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be an interesting series, because I thought that they were literally gonna pull the bait and switch and make Rey the bad guy, and I was like, fuck yeah, Rey's gonna be the bad guy, and Kylo's gonna become the good guy, and it's gonna be this cool fucking dichotomy, and the light side dark side is all it's the light side dark side is all force fluid now. You know what I mean? Like this could have been a thing.
Yeah. I would have loved that storyline, but as we've discussed before,
I
this
know.
climate, you're never going to get the attractive white guy going to take over for the female hero. Like, that is not going to happen.
Yeah, I know, but fuck it.
That's the better storyline. If you take out,
It's the better storyline.
if you literally don't, if the characters aren't male, female, black, white, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That is the by far better storyline.
I mean, really. So let's stop and break down what this every character, the new ones, not even the old ones. Think people who we're not counting, like Leia, Chewie, R2, any of the classics, Luke. We're cutting all them out of the film.
Any of the legacy characters.
Legacy characters are gone. Let's just focus on the actual people from this film. As far as I'm concerned, new fans should be pissed, as well. Rey, did she learn or do anything different? No, she literally ended exactly where she started. She was not better with the force. She was no better with the force than when she started, right? Like Luke didn't really teach her jack shit. He smacked her hand with a leaf, so like nothing happened there. So she didn't have any better understanding of Kylo, because literally it's like she's like, I hate you. All right, we're kind of getting along. Hey, we shared a moment together. All right, I hate you again.
I don't know. I feel like there is a better understanding. I'm not saying they progressed to like, oh, I respect him or some shit like that. I feel like they did. They
had a chance for a romantic thing too, which I was like, fuck yeah, that'd be also an interesting sort of thing. And then they just were like, and then I'm gonna be evil. Bye bye, haha, kill somebody. I don't know. But my point is that I don't feel like she had any real progression.
I don't think they showed her progression. Is the big thing.
Yeah.
Because obviously at the end they're showing you. I mean, okay, this is stupid. They didn't like give you the sense that she grew outside of one shot at the end. That to me was them showing that she grew. She's grew with at least using the Force. I'm not talking about like I'm a better person or some shit. Like she's lifting all the rocks simultaneously at the end and holding them. Like, okay, so she grew. She learned the Force. I'm not saying she's a Jedi Master, but technically Luke wasn't a Jedi Master at the end of his second movie
I get
either.
that. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I just really think Rian Johnson did exactly what you're saying. I won't call it a slap on the face, but I'll call it the, get rid of your past, kill it if you must, and that's what they are doing. They're like, we're getting rid of this old fucking guard. We're getting rid of everything. We're done with it. We're out. See ya.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, like,
and I didn't personally like that. I'm like, no, you guys had something going here, but I'm guessing they think they're going to make money overall at the end of the day with the new storyline.
No, they're going to make money because it's fucking Star Wars, and like they can literally ride on the name Star Wars. Like it's like if you slap Legend of Zelda on something, like Legend of Zelda is going to sell copies. Like technically, thankfully, like they keep trying to make better and better games and whatever, But if you were to just literally just go like, The Legend of Zelda, the Fax Machine of Time, like fucking, people are going to buy the Fax Machine of Time. You know what I mean? It's gonna sell because you have the name on it. Same thing with Star Wars. Like just because you have the name on it doesn't mean you're churning out a quality product. It just means that you have the brand name on it that people trust.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I think they'll still make money over the long haul, but I think they still have to make like decent movies.
I agree that's
and don't take decent as in things that Brian Schultz enjoys. Like
I hear you.
Those can be two different things, because clearly the people like the Kardashians, and I don't fucking get that either. So
I guess,
but like,
it just means I'll have to like admit and let go of Star Wars, like, and be like, I guess I'm not gonna go see it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, those fucking top-down shooters for Halo are fucking terrible. I don't play those. Like the Legend of Zelda fucking whatever. What was the fucking battle game? Hyrule Warriors or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, okay, they've got the Legend of Zelda name on there. I'm like, yeah, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the fucking only person that's going to have any say in this. I just think that if the game's not good enough, then eventually, I mean, you can have some stinkers in a row before the game. People are like, okay, you guys just aren't getting it. Like Fable. Right. Like, they had the great one. Then they had the second and third ones, which obviously weren't as good to everyone else in the country. Obviously, they didn't have, like, the start.
Sorry, that was me. That was my bad.
They didn't have the start that, like, Star Wars has, where it's like, we had three great ones in a row, but, like, it just...
I guess, like, then you look at, okay.
I mean, Star Wars almost got fucking killed by Lucas with the second fucking set. It took them how long afterwards? Fucking 20 years, 15 years to go through and say, hey, we'll finally do this again. It's only because Disney bought it. So, I mean, like, I think it's possible. I think if they fuck it up, nice save.
Thank you.
They fuck it up enough.
Make up for my...
They fuck it up enough, they're gonna do. It's gonna have the same thing's gonna happen.
Yeah, but like I guess okay, but I'm just gonna continue on with my point because otherwise I'm gonna lose it. But like talking about some of the other characters, like Poe, right? Think about Poe. What happened to Poe in that one?
Dude, I don't care about the new characters hardly at all.
Exactly.
I didn't
But
care about
still,
the legacy
like-
characters all that much either.
Right. Right.
Like-
right. But Poe, like literally, like it starts off. They go, Poe, you're a great pilot, but you're really reckless. And he goes, oh, okay. And so then he goes out and he's reckless, and he gets a lot of people killed, but he saves them for a minute, right? And then then they're like, okay, so we're gonna demote you, and you can't fly and shit like that. Okay, fine. So like 20, 30, 40 minutes later, they're like, oh, hey, remember that time where you kill all those people and you should have learned your lesson about being reckless? What are you going to do now? Be super reckless. It's like, but we have a plan in place. Nope, I'm going to be fucking reckless. And then what do you know? He gets more people killed, and he ends up getting the new general, who should have taken over for Leia, but the new general killed as well. Like, she dies, and technically, it's kind of his fault as well, like in addition to this, right? So Poe's body count is just as high as the new Empire. And I'm like, okay, so was this the part where Poe learns to be more like, good about shit? And at the end of it, he's like, I need to be more reckless. And I'm like, what? Like, you've learned nothing. Like, nothing you're doing is right. And he just, I don't know. So Poe's shit in bed, and then what's the other guy's name? Finn, that's the one. Fucking Finn had zero progression in growth from the last film. Like, zero. Like, he started off in the last one, he's like, I'm trying to run away from the Empire because they're big, bad, and scary, and I don't have a connection to anybody. And then he does the exact same thing in this movie, and then now he has the Asian girl with him, and
Rose.
She's like, I believe in people, and he's just like, oh man, I should believe in people. It's like, didn't you already learn this lesson like fucking one movie ago? He's like, yeah, but now I went to a gambling planet and wasted 40 minutes of your time in addition to learning the same lesson that I learned last time. And then she stops it for committing suicide, which would have been the only good thing that the guy would have done. And I'm like, fuck, why? Let him die. It's fine. It's cool. Like, it's an honorable thing, and he'd be the Porkins. You remember him forever. And they just didn't let him die, and I don't understand it.
Again, you're not gonna get him to die.
No,
Same
I know,
reasons
I
as
know,
you're not
I
getting
know,
Rey to
I
take
know,
over.
I know. But it's like we won't win. She says we won't win because we won't win by the way they win. We have to win with love. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Our general just flew our own ship into the fucking thing, committing super suicide, and you're telling me that this is a bad plan? Like, I could have saved thousands. Like, it was so dumb. The whole movie was dumb. And it gets me angry the more I think about it. It's so dumb. Like, everybody was dumb.
Yeah, no,
Even Leia.
the movie, to me, the movie was really dumb. I had a lot of problems when I was watching it, where I was like, just none of this really makes sense from a story standpoint. Like, and I understand from the whole get-go, like, you don't have a movie if there isn't miscommunication in 90% of movies, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you have to.
no.
Otherwise, like, well, if only they would have done this, well, then that's every fucking story
Well,
that we
yeah.
ever go over.
Right,
Like,
right.
If they'd only done this, then why the fuck are you watching if you're wanting everybody won and was happy at the end of it? Like, the whole...
Yeah.
That's dumb. So, like, I can understand what it is, but just nothing made sense the whole way. Like, things have to make sense at some point during that movie, and nothing ever made sense.
I agree
It just...
with that.
I don't know.
Do one more of these and I'm going to bed. But,
I could fully understand if... But, like, Poe being not a general, what was he, a colonel, lieutenant, or he was some high-ranking official.
Some bullshit, yeah.
But he was just out of the inner circle that would have known about the story.
Yeah.
Like, make him seem lower, like he's just a fucking pilot. That's all he is. He's the hotshot pilot and not General Poe or whatever the fuck his name is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Demote him a little bit. That makes more sense. Now we understand the confusion. Now we understand that portion of it.
It was just some bad fucking movie, like, writing. Like, and as I said, like, I guess, like, let's just say that this was supposed to be there, and it's an unfair comparison, but let's just compare it to Empire in the sense that, like, because at the end of this, you're supposed to feel like they're on the run, but, like, they're still the scrappy underdog is gonna make be the big fight. First of all, I think it's dumb that they're the rebellion. Can I just lay that out there? That's fucking horseshit that they're the rebellion. Like, I hated that in The Force Awakens as well. It's like, why? They won the war. Like, it's many years past the war. They're not a rebellion.
I thought they were called the Resistance now.
Yeah, whatever. They're the fucking rebellion. Like, resist. But they have the rebel symbol, for God's sake. They're the rebellion. But the point is that, like, I don't like that idea of being reused again. Like, I don't mind them being like, oh shit, we're outgunned, and making it seem more epic in that regard, you know. But don't try to make it a like.
Well, then how do you do it? Like, okay, if they're the ones that won the war,
yeah,
and they're power,
yeah.
If they're in power, then how are they in power and being outgunned by like a military group that like just sprung up out of nowhere? I'm not saying the First Order didn't, like, in a sense, spring up out of nowhere.
And I can't believe I'm siding with this, but there was better. Like, do you remember in Attack of the Clones? Like, it's like how that war started, and how literally it was a fucking war that seemed to come out of nowhere, but like it was clearly like, oh, these guys are well funded. This is a serious problem. We actually don't have an army big enough to stop these guys. So they had to go out of their way to get the clones, and then even the clones, you know, like that kind of, like, I guess let's put it this way: I'm not asking for, you know, them to go through the whole backstory of like.
I was gonna say, then we need to dedicate a movie to why is this needed again? Like, that's what you're asking. You're asking for a story that's
I'm
way
asking,
outside this movie.
What I'm asking is like, let's just say that I want to use this in terms of America today, okay? Let's just say that we're America. And we're like, all right, we're gonna, we're living our life, we're doing great. All of a sudden, aliens show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, aliens show up, and we had, we're the ones in power. We have a fuck ton of guns, but this outside source, well, shit, they figured something out that we didn't. Like, they have more resources because they don't need blank. They have better production because we didn't know we were in a war. But they've been
Brian. How do you want them to convey that story? That's what I'm asking. In the first movie, in Force Awakens, let's rewrite it. How do they convey that they were in power? Okay. Isn't that what they tried to do with it, where they're like, hey, and the fucking First Order popped up in their wake, in the power vacuum after the war was won, because the Resistance or the Rebellion didn't have enough to like put together an entire system, like a government system. So in the power vacuum, this First Order kind of sprung up and started taking hold of everything. I thought that's what that whole thing was.
I mean,
there's a power vacuum. I mean, you're going to get the same thing if they were like, in space. I know you're saying this as an example. And space aliens came, and now we're on the defensive again. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, but like, I don't call it a fucking a rebellion or a whatever it is. Like use a different terminology and don't make like.
So if they would have changed this, what if they just changed the symbol? Because they already called themselves the Resistance and not the Rebellion.
Forget the Resistance. Nothing with an R then. Like differentiate it. Like I don't like the term. I don't like the idea that these guys are the.
So what if they call themselves the Outcasts? Something that like lets people know, hey, we're on the outside. Or do you want them to call themselves? This is obviously not a cool name, but like whatever. They're the Bobs now.
I almost would say
that
I'd rather it be the Steves. I would almost rather it be the Steves than I would.
Like they just have another, like that's the First Order, and they call themselves.
Yeah,
whatever,
like
Red Cyclones.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so do you remember how once again we use the Attack of the Clones as my example here? What you had the Galactic Empire, right? They were which is what the Jedi were all are a part of, that kind of thing. Versus the Separatists, right?
Yep.
And
Separatists, fucking Resistance, and Rebellions, all the same fucking terms.
But I love the word Separatist in comparison. Like, versus, like, the other one is just, it's too on the nose. It's too, like, you get what we're going for. It's like, no, you're just saying exactly what you're going for. Like, I'd prefer the word Separatist or something along those, akin to that, than I would what they use. Like, I just...
This might be me going into headcanon, but isn't that just because? And I don't know if this was true or not or anything, but isn't it didn't they just not have a name for themselves, and they're going off of the term that the First Order or the Empire or whoever at the time called them. Like, I thought that was the whole thing. I didn't think they called themselves the Rebellion, because that is horribly uncreative.
I'm pretty sure they did call themselves that. They were, yeah. I'm pretty sure they did. Like, it was...
Is there something... I guess the only way to be able to know is if they were, like, in the books and said it.
Yeah,
Because we come in and the rebellion's already a thing. And so, like, in my head, it would be, hey, this is way before, Luke and Leia and all them are getting involved. They called them...
they called them the Rebels.
Yeah, so, like, they were the Rebels, right? And so they used that and called themselves the Rebellion because of that, or... the Empire throughout the time afterwards was like, okay, yeah, these are the rebels and they're rebellion, and so that's how I always understood it was. They didn't name themselves. It just was like, no, they were called these things and they just were like, fuck it, whatever, we'll use it.
You see, I don't know why I thought they needed. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't.
And so I thought that was like the same things with the Resistance. They obviously wanted to delineate it from the first movie, so it wasn't literally the same exact fucking term.
Well, yeah, like, it's the same thing. I mean, like, the First Order, I actually like that as a replacement of the word the Empire, right? Because, I mean, they're the same thing, but I like that because it clearly states what it is and differentiates itself. So you don't say the Empire, it's the First Order. Like, it's very, like, the First Order. It's very, I don't know. You know what I mean? It has its own little ring to it. You're like, oh, fuck, it's the First Order. Oh, fuck, it's the Empire. Like, it sounds good. Versus, like, we're the Resistance, and we don't know. Like, it's like, Leia, you're too old for this. Like, you can't be a resistant, like, rebel anymore. Like, I don't know why. Like, it just doesn't, like, be senator. Be Congresswoman Leia Organa. Like, I don't care. Something. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like kids playing dress up in their mommy's clothes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not right. Like, something about it's wrong to me. And once again, it could be just me on that, probably is, but, like, I think that it's dumb to call themselves what they call, to be like the Resistance or anything that in reference to, like, the Rebellion. Like, just be what you are. You can literally call yourself goody good guys, for all I care. Just don't be rebels. Like, that's been done. It's over.
Yeah, if it's been done, we didn't need the first movie. We didn't need the Force Awakens in general then.
I think that you're right in some ways, but at the same time, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of the Force Awakens I like. I mean, like, that movie I don't have that big of a problem with.
I just, in my head, I heard you be like, yeah, the Force Awakens, there's parts of it I liked. And then you go on to just explain all the parts that were basically exactly like A New Hope. You're like, those are great parts. The whole part, like, of this, and
you see the part where they had a Millennium Falcon and they used it.
That was great.
I like that part. I like the part where they start off on a desert planet and they blow up a giant space station by the end of it. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I think they fucked up a lot on that movie, on the
Force Awakens?
Last Jedi.
Oh, Last Jedi.
No, the Force Awakens makes sense. Like, they're literally just like, hey, guess what we're doing? We're making money. We're milking the nostalgia teat. That's all we're fucking doing. Are you trying to think for yourselves? No, don't, because we're gonna think for you. Think.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Brondo.
Fuck.
That's what.
Yeah.
Electrolytes. It's what plants crave.
Yeah, no, and you know what? In that regard, as I said, like, it's fine. Like, that didn't bug me because they still handled, like, had they done that and then they like shit all over Luke, like the way they did in this new movie, like, it would have been a fucking disaster. And this movie, so they're like, okay, now that we got your legs underneath you, you know what you're gonna get. They're like, hard left turn, and I'm like, all right, well. It's fine to do a left turn, but you are going to treat everybody equally and with respect, right? Like, oh, no. 45 minutes on a gambling planet while Luke doesn't do shit and goes back and forth on what he's going to do. It's like followed by him not learning a lesson. Then he does learn a lesson, but doesn't get to act on it because he dies. I'm like, I hate you, movie. I hate you so much.
I feel like I have no idea. I don't know. Is that a thing where Rian Johnson sends them the script and then they say, okay, yeah, this is a good idea, let's go with this? Or did they tell Rian Johnson the beats to hit and then he wrote that movie? Because it seems like if you're the one that's coming on to write a Star Wars movie, like I don't see the studio doing that. I don't see the studio being like, hey, Ryan, write this. Write Luke out. Write him doing this, write him doing this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
To me, this seemed like Rian Johnson. They may have hired him, and they're like, hey, give us your take on what we should do next in this story or something like that. And it may have been like, okay, we want Luke to die. We want...
I'd be fine with Luke dying.
I'm not saying you're saying they shouldn't, but like the notes they gave him were, hey, Luke needs to die. These are the beats that we need because we're already in works on episode 9. Here's these beats. And then I think it's all just Rian Johnson doing that and like going, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to write my story how I want to write. I don't know. In my head, I see Rian Johnson as the bad guy on this one. And the studio just was like, whatever, we'll go with this. So I'm wondering how it'll change when it's back into J.J. Abrams' hands for the next one.
Unless he's going to retcon the whole thing and it was all a dream, and we say, then I say that they're going to have
What if they did that? What if it literally was in the crawl? It's like Luke woke up the next morning.
Luke saw an entire vision of a shitty movie that involved a 45-minute thing about economics or something on a gambling planet.
There was parts of that like I really liked, not in terms of like, but like that type of thing right there where they're showcasing like, no, guess what? This is just a fucking. There's a war going on. There's war profiteers. Like I like that portion.
No.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
okay with I'm okay with like war profiteers. That's fine. Like that's fine.
Those are great business people.
Yeah, don't spend 40.
You're not talking about storyline. You're just talking in general. Like you really like war profiteers.
Oh God, yeah, a huge fan of war dogs. But no, my point is that like I'm okay with certain beats and certain whatevers, like, but just to handle everything better, like and like obviously okay. So we're talking about getting it stripped from the record or whatever. Obviously they're not going to strip it from the record because can't do that. But there was this. I thought it was funny that all the petitions online to have it stripped. It's all was change.org stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like all the people like clamoring for it to be like like this one to be expunged from the Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's funny as fuck that the people
You're like, and now that my change.org petition did so well.
Well, like the thing, yeah. No, but the thing is that like realistically, I would have loved that, and it's not gonna happen. But whatever.
There's no way it happens.
No, 0% chance. But I think that what made me feel good about it is that at least in some way was actually something that Mark Hamill said. Did you see like, some of his stuff from when he got his star on the Walk of Fame?
No.
One of his lines from it.
I saw. I was as speechless as I was during The Force Awakens.
Yes, which I was like, that's fucking funny. And it's one of those things where I see that and I think to myself, you know what? He gets it. I'm gonna exit out. It's 2 a.m.
Okay. What was the other part that you didn't like, or that he said?
Well, it's just the fact that, like, he said something else like akin to that on a different interview somewhere. But basically the equivalent of like, hey, I went in, I did what they asked me to, and I left. And basically, like, he didn't say that he was very good about his words. He was very clever about them. He didn't outright say like this was fucking horseshit, but he was like, really, this is the direction we're going with Luke, huh? And he's like, well, that's a big